If you remember right, Franklin Raines was the guy who about collapsed Fannie Mae. If you remember right, he was the guy that didn't serve any jail time, had to pay millions of dollars in penalties, which were waived, because he was the guy making the bogus claims on the bonuses. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is before the housing crisis. He buys this technology with the people on the board of Fannie Mae saying, why would we buy this technology? Trust me, we're going to want this technology. But why would we want it? This has nothing to do. We're buying climate exchange technology for what? It's not even patented. And what are we going to use it for? We are in housing. Fannie Mae purchased this technology under Franklin Raines.
Fannie Mae.
Now,
wow.
Now we have Fannie Mae. We have Goldman Sachs, Fannie Mae, Al Gore, and Barack Obama, and the Joyce Foundation. But we haven't gotten to the really entertaining part yet. We'll do that in a second. So I'm trying to explain on radio what we explained last night, and we'll show again tonight with some new information of the Chicago Climate Exchange. Started with the Joyce Foundation funneling money into the Chicago Climate Exchange through Barack Obama, who was on the board of the Joyce Foundation. He was the one that moved the money to Chicago to start this carbon trading system. We have Al Gore and his European company coming in with 3 former Goldman Sachs partners and buying into it. They're the 5th largest shareholder. A 10% owner after 2006. Remember the year, 2006. After 2006, Goldman Sachs decides they're going to get in on this, and they buy 10% of the Chicago Climate Exchange. Then we have Franklin Raines buying the technology, which has no patent, buying the technology for Fannie Mae. Franklin Raines is the discredited and corrupt CEO of Fannie Mae. He was a guy who, had to pay all kinds of fines, but they were magically waived by all of his friends in Washington. Fannie Mae, because what were they doing? They were bundling all of the mortgages together. And they were saying, oh, no, these are good mortgages. They were bundling the mortgages together. That's what caused the housing collapse. Got it? So that's where we are.
Well, because, certainly at this point, this is more than they ever had on Dick Cheney and Halliburton, and that was worthy of front-page story after front-page story after front-page story.
Absolutely.
But couldn't you make the argument here, though, that so far what we have is a bunch of left-wing people involved in climate change business?
But we're going after now these Goldman Sachs executives and saying that they're evil, but yet the government is involved with Goldman Sachs at a 10% share of the Chicago Climate Exchange. If Goldman Sachs is so evil, why would we give them 10% of $10 trillion of exchanges every single year?
Isn't this also a case of an Enron type where trading and dealing in nothing scandal?
Yes.
Isn't this also creating a $10 trillion industry that doesn't really exist?
Isn't that exactly what we talked about with the mortgages? They were bundled up together. They had no value of themselves, and they were used to trade against. Yeah. And so there was no value. When those mortgages lost their value, the whole thing fell apart. We're now starting with something of no value, and we're bundling them together. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now Fannie Mae buys this. The people on Fannie's board say to Franklin Raines, "Why are we buying this? It's not even. It hasn't even received a patent." On November 7th, 2006, it receives its official U.S. patent. Been trying to get a patent for a while, but on November 7th, 2006, do you recognize that date?
Is it the day after the election?
It is the day after the Democrats take control of the House and the Senate. Mysteriously, coincidentally, it receives its patent. Then, that's when Goldman Sachs says, we want 10% of the CCX thing. Now, They have the technology. They have the trading floor, if you will. All they need is to force people in through these doors. All they need now is the gun to say, you must do that. That would require the cap and trade bill. If I may, it requires one other thing. Cap and trade, and then someone who knows how to bundle meaningless stuff together and sell it on a trading floor. Luckily for CCX, they have it. The man responsible for bundling all of our mortgages together for Fannie Mae. He is the man who's bundling all of the carbon together for CCX. Now, you tell me that that's not a front page story. You tell me when we're talking about corruption in finances, when the president is warning you that if we don't fix the problems, if we don't get the bad guys, we could have this happen again. Not only are the current bad guys, Goldman Sachs, involved neck deep in this thing, but so is the president and the bad guys that a court has already said helped cause these bad problems at Fannie Mae, and the guy who bundled all the mortgages together. They are creating another system of meaningless junk. And someone stands to gain $10 trillion a year. $10 trillion a year, this market. What do you say we look into this story? What do you say? There's too many things here that we slow down on financial regulation, because what it always has been, and it happened under Wilson, and it's happened under FDR, and it's happening now. Those with power and access to the Oval Office become richer, and they block the door for everyone else. And the bad guys get away. We're creating another mortgage scam.